Okay, Debbie, we're going to do 2 openings because I have music. I am Vinnie Tortorich, folks. Your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. Meet me halfway, Chris. That's all I ask. Meet me halfway. And we're going to be talking about people who I feel somehow figured out how to meet me. By the way, you know what movie that's from, Chris?
Meet Me Halfway? No, but I
One
know
he's
also got Footloose and Danger Zone, right? So.
Yeah, same era, probably 1986, 87. It's an 80s sounding song. You could tell from the synthesizers and the fact that Kenny Loggins still had a career. One of the best movies of all time, critically acclaimed. Everyone loves it. I'm talking about Over the Top with one Mr. Sylvester Stallone. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, man, Kenny Loggins carved out a neat little niche in the early 80s, right? Because he did Danger Zone. He did I'm All Right from Caddyshack. Meet Me Halfway from Over the Top. Like, did he do nothing but movie music?
Nobody worried about me. Yeah, that was Caddyshack. By the way, you know who was in that movie? And I've always found her to be strikingly attractive. Now, she was sick the entire time in the movie. She played Stallone's wife, Susan Blakely. Do you know even know who Susan Blakely is?
Not off the top of my head. I'm going back. Who was she in Caddyshack?
No, she was in Over the Top, the greatest movie.
Oh, okay.
Stallone. Yeah. David Mendenhall.
Oh, yeah. I know her by look.
Yeah, when you see
it.
Every movie back in the day. Yeah. Susan Blakely is just quietly, great actress and just, in my opinion, stunning. Even, she's older now. She's got to be in her mid-70s. Still stunning. Just one of those stunners.
Did she do anything? I'm scrolling through her IMDb and I'm trying to think of
she did
other than the fact that she was in everything.
Yeah, she did a mafia movie where she played when she was much younger. It was like a mafia movie in the mid-70s. I want to say it was like an Al Capone type movie or something. I can't remember, but she's been around forever and a week. And but yeah, I just watched once again. I watched Over the Top. Now, people might go, "Come on, Vin, you're watching these really bad Stallone movies. What's wrong with you?" It's one of those things where in life, this guy messed up, right? And he wanted his son back. And Susan Blakely, the wife, was dying. And, it's that 80s movie where the rich guy is trying to beat up on the poor guy. Stallone was a truck driver. And, the guy's like, hey, here's a brand new truck and $500,000, right? You just go away. Just leave, go away, and we'll be good. And Stallone doesn't take the deal. It's like, look, you can't buy me. I want my kid. I'm going to fight for my kid. I like fight back movies, right? I mean, that's Stallone's whole career, right? Rocky, Rambo, it's all the same theme.
Yeah,
it
but
really is. Over the Top. Yeah.
Over the Top is probably the most aptly named movie of all time, right? If you ask ChatGPT to write an 80s action movie, Over the Top, or at least the points of Over the Top, it is probably what it would spit out, right? Isn't his name like Lincoln Hawk?
That's exactly his name. What do you mean his name, Lincoln Hawk? It's Lincoln Hawk.
It's like, okay, take a president and a fierce animal, fuse those two things together. That's how you get an action movie character. What's the plot? It's an arm wrestling championship. It's like, what was that game? Not a game, but like the puzzle book where you filled in the like adjectives and verbs to fill in the story. Everybody's screaming at their phone.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called now. Serena would tell you right away because she loves those games. It's just it's fill in the blank. It's classically 80s. I've been on an 80s kick lately. As you know, I watched one of my favorite movies of all time just the other day. The one with Lunatic Fringe. What is it? Matthew Modine. I can't think of the name of it. Lunatic Fringe. You know which movie I'm talking
Vision
about.
Quest.
Vision Quest. Yeah, I just watched that the other day. I've been toying with watching the one where, Steel Town Girl on a Saturday night, the one about the girl who welds and dances, Flash Dance. There's actually one that's really good, and I can't remember the name, but Kevin Bacon was a trader on Wall Street, like lost all of his dad's money and decided to become a messenger on a bicycle in New York.
Quicksilver.
I was going to say American Flyers, but that's a different 80s movie. Folks, all of these movies you have to watch. American Flyer, Quicksilver, all of these movies have the same theme, right? It's like something physical and the person is trying to, win, like the world doesn't agree with them and they're going to play by their own rules and on and on and on. And isn't that kind of what we do here? Right? Everyone was sold a bill of goods. Ironically, in the 80s, if you don't eat fat, you can't get fat. Do what we're telling you to do. I just had a guest that's coming up on a Friday show. Go back a week. She's going to be last week. The woman's name is, I'll tell you right here, Hilary Boynton. And this woman literally changed a school program. It's a private school in Topanga Canyon in California. And she went in and said, look, we could feed these kids real food. They're feeding them everything, animal protein and everything. These kids are doing better than anyone else. And they're trying to take this to other places. Right. And we had a whole discussion about raw milk and raw dairy and all this stuff. And I'm bringing on other people to talk about that stuff because we used to have all of this stuff. Right. And I'm not saying, hey, everyone go out and drink raw milk. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if we get back to some semblance of eating real food and using food as your medicine and forgetting about all of this, will the government cover my Ozempic, which is the worst idea I've ever heard, right? Really? Is that what we want to do? We want to put more people on drugs and make it free? Really? When you can easily do this, we can easily, fix this problem, right? So at any rate, I don't want to get on a rant because I know we have a lot of people to talk to today. And all of these people, I'm sure they have great questions. Some of them have lost a lot of weight. And we're going to figure it out. Who do we have up first, Chris?
We have a handful of people. Before we get into that, Vinny, you mentioned somebody in LA doing a school lunch program. Did you ever see Food Revolution?
Why is that familiar to me? What?
Jamie Oliver. It was on ABC.
Yeah. She mentioned Jamie Oliver, and that part of that gave her an idea. But I've never seen it. I just know about it.
So I can't vouch for it. Ironically, one of the producers was someone who has his hands in everything, Ryan Seacrest, of all people. But he actually went in, and I think it was the second season. He went into LA Unified School District, and they took over a cafeteria and showed how you could cook real food in, essentially with the same amount of effort. And they planted some gardens and did that kind of thing. It's worth going back and trying to find. While you are talking to our first guest here today, and if he comes back in the camera, we'll bring him in. If not, we'll bring in Miss Kelli first. I'm going to see if I can find where that's streaming for you, because it's worth taking a look at. It's 15, 16 years old at this point, but it was a very interesting concept. And it's worth diving into at the very least.
Yeah, I would love to see it because I've heard about it over the years. I've never seen it. And this woman is talking the same game. She's been doing it for 12 years and it's working. So it works, within the model that she's working on, it's working, right? And I would like to see it get to the next level. By the way, I'll give her book. It's called Heal Your Gut, the Heal Your Gut cookbook. And, she's done great job in schools. And I know the first person we're bringing up is actually a school teacher, which is very interesting to me because he's lost a significant amount of weight. And one of my big questions for Tim is going to be, is that crossing over to the kids? So without any further ado, Tim, are you ready to come in? Give us a thumbs up in the camera.
Give us that thumbs up in the camera. I'll bring you right on in. There he is. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Vinny.
Hey, brother. How's it going, man?
It's going great. How are you?
I can't complain. Thanks for being on. Let's give everybody your story. Tell everyone who you are and what you've done so far.
How far back do you want me to go? I can give you as much as you want.
Well, I don't want to hear I was born in 1983, but look, when I first saw you, what was your heaviest weight?
My heaviest was 376 back in 2022.
Okay. So before you get on to how you found me and this and all of it, take us back. No one gets to 376 without trying every diet in the book. Tell us about, because I've always said that the way we succeed is by learning from our failures. So tell us about some of that.
Well, I started off, I'll start back in high school. I was kind of the bigger kid. I was an offensive lineman, and I just every year I kept getting bigger, and I attributed to getting older, getting bigger as the lineman, but it really was just me getting straight up fat. And I went through college and had a glass shattering moment and lost about 50 pounds and went from 320 down to 270. And
how tall are you? How tall
I'm
are you?
5'9". I'm 5'9".
Okay. So not very tall. So when you were playing high school ball, you're in your teens, 5'9". What were you weighing at your highest in high school?
I'd probably say about 250, 260.
So you were a fire plug. You were that kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't very talented at it either.
Yeah. Look, I remember sometimes looking across the line at some of these kids, they would always put them at offensive guard, right? When I was playing linebacker, and I see the fire plug over there in high school. You don't see the fire plug in college, but you would see that guy and you would go, okay, either he's fat and slow, or this kid is going to be vicious and come at my knees all night. I got to watch this guy, right? So you never know which version you're going to get, right?
Yeah.
It's, in high school, you just don't know what you're going to get. Are you the kid that dad said you got to go play no matter what? Or are you the kid that literally is 5'9", 250, who thinks you're 6'4", right?
I was the kid whose dad was the head football coach, and I was out there because he's my dad, he's my coach. And it was never really my passion. I mean, I did it because I felt like I needed to. And I learned later on that he would have been proud of me whether or not I played football. And, he's been a football coach since 1980, and I didn't want to let him down. So I joined, and really I didn't care for it that much. I was more of a coach myself. As soon as I graduated high school, I coached football all through college. And then after I moved to Louisiana, I had to give coaching up just for teaching, but that was more my speed. I was a great coach, not a good player.
The worst players make the best coaches, right? I remember, my high school, when I was still in college, when we were in off season, hey, you want to come by for spring practice and teach the younger linebackers what to do? And it was like, yeah, I don't know how I did it, right? And now I have all these other schematics in my brain from college where, it gets way more complicated. How do you teach the basics, right? And it's interesting that you thought your dad wanted you to play. Your dad thought you wanted to play, yet you guys never had that meeting or that conversation as a kid. I think that happens a lot of times with fathers and sons. My dad wasn't an athlete at all, and didn't, he was like, hey, if I were you, I'd never go out. That looks dangerous, right? But my parents signed that sheet every year and said, yeah, you can play, right?
Oh yeah.
And go on.
Oh, I was going to say, my son is extremely brilliant. He's a super smart, super academic and nerdy kind of kid. He's like a lot like me, but 10 times smarter. He gets it from his mama, honestly. But, we've had him play soccer and he didn't really like it. And we've tried karate. He didn't really care for that. We're trying to find that niche of something to keep him active. So we're trying golf now. but I'm not gonna force him to do something he doesn't want to do. And if he doesn't like it, if we make a commitment, we're gonna do it. But then after that, we're gonna try to find something else.
You're going to know you found the right thing when your kid is finding time in between like, let's say it's golf, just for pretend, right? He's going to be, whenever he's not doing homework or doing something else or taking the garbage out, he's going to have that putter in his hand, or he's going to be in the backyard chipping into a net, until you have no backyard left, basically, right? You always know when a kid finds what they want to find, because, every great drummer, I've worked with a lot of rock and rollers in Hollywood. And it's like, well, when did you start playing the drums? I was beating on pots and pans when I was a kid. I just kept beating on pots, and it was driving my parents nuts, but I just could not stop beating on pots. And then before you know it, their uncle buys them a snare drum or something, and they beat on that until they can't do it anymore. Next thing you know, they're the drummer for Aerosmith or whatever, right? That's just the way life works. You're going to know when your kid finds that thing, because they're going to be obsessive about it. And look, you work with kids every day. You see the kids, right? You see who's going to be what, right? Don't you have that figured out as a teacher?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And for the most part, I'm right.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, you see it, right? You see, what do you teach? Tim?
I teach fifth grade language arts.
Okay. So you see the ones who are interested in academia. You see the ones who are interested in sports. You see the ones who are interested in arts and being in the theater, right? Or in the, in the band, right? Because that's all they want to do. And, I didn't, it's funny. I didn't really know what I wanted. I just knew that, weightlifting was physical, and the physical really kept me calm, right? I used to love going to that gym every day, in that little, cinder block building with a tin roof in Southern Louisiana with no windows, right? That thing got hot, but that's where Joe had his stuff, in a little cinder block building with a low ceiling with a tin roof. Can you imagine? It was like lifting weights in a sauna, right? And that's what we did. And it worked, right? I wanted to be nowhere else except in there. When I walked in there, it smelled like sweat, right? It smelled like man sweat, because a couple of men went in there and sweated every day. And when I walked in there, there was a calming effect. I wanted to be there. And I didn't even know why I wanted to be there. I wasn't really aware of my body, right? I think back on that. It's like, what kept me going back? I wanted to lift something heavier every time, right? I would think about it when I would be in class thinking about it. I remember the first time, and I was like 11 or 12. The first time I had a plate on each side, as they call it, 45 on each side, and I got it up once. I mean, I could not wait to go back in the gym the next day, and you know that. And by the way, that's such a weird thing. There was nothing else. I didn't know why I enjoyed that, right? It was an accomplishment. I felt like I was good at something that none of the other kids were doing, right? So there you are. You're gaining more and more weight. When do you go on your first diet? You said in college you lost 50 pounds? What happened?
I was starting my clinical rotation in education right before, I was probably 2007, and I decided I had enough. So I did a medically supervised weight loss. I don't know if you remember the old MetaFast program.
I sure do.
So I did that, lost 50 pounds really quickly, and it was great, but it didn't last. I should say, after I got off of it, I was able to keep the weight off for probably about 2.5, 3 years, up until about 2010. And then I kind of started to make that downward slope of depression and anxiety. And I cope with a bad school year with food. And that was kind of that first big hiccup of weight gain again.
How much, when you got to your lowest of 50 pounds lost, what weight were you?
Probably about 270. maybe
So
260.
you were still morbidly obese. You lost 50 pounds, kept that off. Good keeping it off 3 years, but did you feel like MetaFast was a white knuckling experience? Because it's basically a calorie in, calorie out proposition.
It was, and I think I lasted on it maybe 6 months, and I was done after that. I couldn't do it anymore, and I was able to kind of white knuckle it for another 2.5 years, and then I stopped caring after that because it was just too much.
Yeah. So what happens after that? Is that the most weight you ever lost on a weight program?
Up until most recently, yes. So then I went about 2 years. Right before I got married, I decided to do Jenny Craig and lost about 40 pounds, got down to 280 right in 2012. Looked great in a tux, ran a marathon 2 weeks later. And after that, I didn't really care again until my son was born in 2015. And I've had that glass shatter moment of I'm a fat dad and I just can't do it. So I decided to, for the first time, to do low carb and lost 50 or 60 pounds right there by doing that and running, because I wanted to do 5Ks again because I love to run. It was one of my favorite things to do. And I did it from 2016 until probably mid 2017. And then I had, we've talked about this before, I had a catastrophic hip injury that required me to have a hip replacement at 34. And after I wasn't able to run anymore, that's when I got really, really depressed. And that's when the weight gain really came, and I ended up ballooning up to 376.
When you did low carb in 2015, who were you following? Anyone in particular?
Nobody in particular. It was more maybe Atkins buying all that bull crap.
How did you find, was it just because everyone was talking low carb on the internet, or what was going on?
To be honest, I think I found the book and I decided to try it and had success, and I was liking where it was going. I was feeling better, and then I decided to go with it. But then as I got, but the caveat is right around mid 2017, I started getting lazy with my nutrition and sneaking things back in and still running. And that was not good. I started gaining weight again, not even realizing it. I'm like, oh, I'm still running 30, 40 miles a week. I'll be okay. As you always say, you can't outrun a bad diet. And I didn't.
Yeah. So at some point you found us, right? How did you happen upon us? What happened there?
I actually found you through a targeted Facebook ad. I just was scrolling Facebook one night in 2021, early 2022, and I saw a targeted Facebook ad for Fata documentary. So I bought it, watched it, loved it, started listening to your podcast, joined X just so I could interact with you and Anna, and the rest is history from there.
Chris, let's start doing targeted ads again on Fata documentary. It's still out there. Why don't we just start targeting people and get them in again? Because that's how people find us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? So you did something, Tim, that I saw the other. I'm always, I have a couple of people in my life, people close to me who went through AA. And both of them are what they call old timers in AA. You know what that means, old timers?
Is it what they got their chip a long time ago?
Well, they get a chip every year. Every year they have it's called a birthday from the first time you stop drinking. And old timers, I think anyone after 15 or maybe 20 years, I don't know where they start calling them old timers, but one's got a 20-year chip and one has a 40-year chip, which sober for 40 years. I mean, think about that. It's crazy. And with alcoholics, every day they have to make a decision. And since both of these people are close friends of mine, I started saying, wow, when they were, I've sat in meetings. I've actually gone to Al-Anon, because Al-Anon is for people who are close to people who are alcoholics, right? So Al-Anon helps you deal with them, right? They say if you're an asshole and you're an alcoholic, when you go to AA, they can help you with the alcohol part, but you're still an asshole. So, you have to, everyone, you have to take life on life's terms, so to speak. So I got very interested in AA. even though I don't have a problem with alcohol. And I started going, my God, this is very close to my addiction with sugar, something I had to come to terms with. Right. And it's very difficult for me because I never got fat. I had a moment when I got fat and I wasn't even that fat. Right. I was 225 and built like, Rambo when I was 220 because I was still playing football. And as soon as I was off of training table and I wasn't eating meat and and protein around the clock, I started eating ramen noodles and vermicelli pasta with oil on it or butter or whatever, and rice because rice was cheap, and tuna fish from a can poured over my rice. Literally, that was my diet. I couldn't afford anything else. And I was keeping myself strong in the gym, but I went to 270, something like that, 275 pretty quickly. And that's when I was still in college. I was still young. It's easy when you're 21, 22. That's when I decided I need to do something about this right now. And even though I was studying nutrition and exercise physiology, I didn't really know anything about weight loss. No one ever talked about it back in the early 80s, right? No one was fat yet. And I had to come to terms with, oh my God, I love sugar. I love carbs. I craved them all the time. And especially when I started running triathlons and, I was doing a lot of 10Ks and stuff like that. And then I got on a bicycle and started riding a bicycle like a crazy man. Now I had justification for eating all that rice because, hey man, carbohydrates, that's how you fuel a bike ride. So I fell into line with that just like everyone else. But I had to figure out how to lose weight. And I just went back to what I heard my grandparents and great grandparents talk about. You need to eat protein. You need to eat good, healthy protein. So I started eating more eggs again and doing all the right, enough right things to where that 270 became 195 pretty quickly. And I was ripped at 195 because I still had a lot of muscle on my legs, upper body, and the whole thing. But I never lost that feeling of wanting to eat sugar all the time. And I became pretty much like what you said, I would be good all week, eating a proper diet. But if I had a little extra cash in my pocket on a Friday or a Saturday, I would stop and buy, some Popeye's fried chicken, which was brand new at the time. It was only a few years old and it was still delicious before they sold it to other companies or whatever. I would get that Popeye's fried chicken, man. I would house a 4-piece with the rice and all the stuff, and then literally stop at a donut shop right there on Carrollton in Uptown New Orleans and get the baker's dozen of just assorted everything. It wouldn't even make it home. I was in the car stuffing this in my mouth after polishing off rice and chicken and everything else, just jamming it in, right? And then when I got home, it was ice cream. It was like nobody was watching, no one was over at my apartment. I would just eat it and then pass out. And then what did I do the next day? If this is not addict behavior, I don't know what is. Oh my God, I can't get fat again. I'm not eating all day and I'm going to go ride a bike. And I would get on my bike and ride for 100 miles. That's fucked up behavior, man. And then, that's when I started realizing, oh my God, this is an addiction. And food is, I sound like Dr. Phil when I say this, but food is a dog you need to take for a walk 3 times a day. It's not like alcohol. It's not like cocaine or anything else. You need food for sustenance. And a donut is sustenance, right? Fried chicken is sustenance. You can lie yourself into anything. Oh, I'm carving up. I'm going to ride the bike all day tomorrow, right? And it would never end. I remember one time going to Gambino's Bakery and buying a Dobage cake. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a big thing in New Orleans. I would buy a whole Dobage cake and hammer it. I would house that whole thing. Stomach ache, the whole deal. Didn't matter. Just ate the whole thing myself. No one was there to watch, right? And then I saw what you wrote on X the other day, and it's like, yeah. So can you go through, do you have that available? Do you have it with you, that thing you wrote?
Yeah,
or can you pull it up?
I think I can pull it up. I don't know if it'll minimize you. Can you still see me?
Yeah. While you're trying to put, well, no, I just want you to read it. You don't have to.
I got it.
Okay.
Yep, I got it right here.
Great.
Oh, okay. So are you talking about the list, the ways I knew I was addicted?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Okay.
we can't see him anymore for whatever reason. No, you have to go. But I'd rather hear it than see it. Can you still see the list?
No. I wish I'd have brought my iPad.
I can pull it up. It's on his Twitter, right?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't want to lose Tim. While you're doing that, Chris, let me do a quick ad so we can get through it. Villa Capelli, folks. Villa Capelli is the longest running sponsor of the show, and that's for good reason. It's the best olive oil on the planet. Villa Capelli is 100% pure olive oil. When I do these consults and people go, hey, Vin, I hear you talking about Villa. They literally say this to me on consults. What other oil do you recommend? Why not Villa Capelli? Why are you looking for something else? Because you're not going to get a great oil like Villa Capelli at that price. And people go, well, it's kind of expensive. Go buy 3 liters of really pure olive oil from anyone else, and it's going to cost you $250 for 3 liters. You're getting this for just over $100, folks. Villa Capelli olive oil. And by the way, you could get a 750 milliliter for little or nothing, and it comes in a cute can or a bottle, whatever you want. Go check out everything at Villa Capelli. Put in promo code Vinnie, VINNIE, and you will save 10% every single time. If you spend more than $125 after the discount, you will also get free shipping, which is a big deal. Villa Capelli olive oil, promo code Vinnie, VINNIE, no wimpy Y. Chris, do you have it there?
I think I do. Tim, is it the one you put up yesterday?
Yeah,
yes,
it was. Yeah.
I compared myself to an alcoholic.
Yeah. Food addiction is the real thing. How do I know? I was severely addicted to sugar for years. Preach. It was there when I was happy, and it was there when I was sad. It was at every event where food was present, and I was the proverbial kid in a candy store. How did I know I was addicted? I treated sugar like an alcoholic treats booze. I had secret stashes. Tim, I have to ask, did you do the toilet stash thing, or did you avoid that?
No, I didn't have it wasn't quite the toilet stash, but it was the file. The biggest one was the file cabinet in my classroom.
Yeah.
Oof. Like an alcoholic tucking away a flask, I had hidden caches that let me indulge without anyone noticing. My file cabinet at school was the worst. 2, I utilized timing tricks. Just as an alcoholic might sneak a drink when no one's around, I waited for moments of solitude. After Connor went to bed, or during a quick Walmart run, I'd scarf down a king-size Reese's Big Cup or a Little Debbie treat without any judgment. 3, I rationalized and made excuses, saying, I deserve this after a long day, mirroring alcoholics. I've earned this drink. I justified frequent desserts or snacks with stress, celebrations, or claims of low blood sugar to deflect suspicion. 4, I hid wrappers and pastry bags deep in the trash can outside, much like an alcoholic hides empty bottles. No trace, no questions. Sugar's legal and socially acceptable status makes it easier to hide in plain sight compared to alcohol, but the underlying drive to keep it under wraps felt eerily similar.
Yeah. Hiding the wrappers. Think about that. That's pure alcoholic behavior. Did you ever do it, like put it in your closet and coat pockets and stuff like that? That's something people tell me they do to hide it from family members.
Never in the closet or the coat pockets. I would just always have it in a place where I could just take it to the trash outside and no one would ever know.
Yeah. And, when just to have the thought of, I need to go bury this in the trash is, right there, you're telling yourself, I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing. My wife would not like this. My kids would not like this. My students would not like this. Right. I've had people, have you ever done the thing where you've taken the rest of the cake, thrown it in the trash, and then went, well, it's sitting on top. and start eating it out of the trash?
Thankfully, I've never done that. The first time you told me that story, I was shocked because I think as severely addicted to sugar as I had been, I don't think I was ever that bad.
I can't tell you the number of people. Well, in Hollywood, where people have to be thin, a lot of it turns into bulimia, unfortunately. So, that's the thing, that they'll throw it in the trash so they can stop, and then they'll go eat it out of trash and then throw up and do everything because they have to be thin for, because they're on television, they're on camera or whatever. The stuff people do. And you can always tell the bulimics because their fingers are all, gnarled up, from acid and everything else. It's really messed up, man. It's it goes into different. There were two women I knew. They weren't just bulimic; they were also athletic bulimics, right? It was the Barbie twins, Shane and Sia Barbie, and Shane would call me to go run the stairs with her at like 2:00 in the morning before she was married to Ken Wall, the actor. She would go, "Hey, can you come run the stairs with me? Because, I just binged all night and I gotta go run the stairs." Right. That's exercise bulimia. They can't even wait till the next morning. They're going right now. Right. And by the way, I'm not sharing something that Shane and Sia hasn't talked about. They put a whole book out about that. I don't know the name of the book, but Chris might be able to look it up and tell you. But what you were talking about is exactly that. Right. And so tell us where you are now, Scott. You seem like you have it under
Scott.
control.
Scott who?
Other Scott. Well, I know Scott is your guy that, he's like your alcoholic. What do they call that? Your sponsor.
He's my sponsor. Yeah. And
Yeah.
coincidentally, my dad's name is Scott too. So when you called me Scott Mallion on one of the podcast episodes, I just couldn't help but laugh because I thought that's awesome.
Well, you guys, I know you guys became friends. And I know he's like your sponsor, like in AA. We're talking about, Scott King, who I love dearly. So Tim, where are you now? You've lost a significant amount of weight. I've seen before and afters on you right now.
And so right now I'm down about 83 pounds. I'm at 293 as of the last time I weighed, which was Friday. And, I turned 40 last month and I feel better now at 40 than I did at 30. And, when I was 30, I had a baby and now I've got a fourth grader, and it's just amazing how much better I feel.
Cool. What made it stick this time? Where are you now? What's making this stick?
Well, I think it's the big thing of, so I started in 2022, did pretty well, got down to 315 back in right before the summer of 2023. And then 2023 kind of went off the rails because I had a really, really tough school year. Shocker, I know that never happens. And then, I kind of, the weight came flooding back right before the end of last summer. And I had that glass shatter moment, that second rock bottom. And I'm like, I can't keep doing this. I'm getting older. My grandfather died at 67 from complications of diabetes. My biological dad has circulation problems with his feet. I don't want to leave my wife a widow and my son an orphan. So it's time to stop, for lack of a better term, being selfish and get my shit together, because I can't keep doing this. So
yeah,
I went really back hard on the wagon back in September and went from 362 down to 293, so 70 pounds. And just
we're talking. Go on.
Sorry, I have to be in the garage because that's the only place I can record, and a truck went by, so I don't know what the last thing you said was. I'm sorry.
No, you're down 70 pounds in 7 months, so that's a good rate. You're losing 10 pounds a month.
It's slowed down a lot since then, but every time I step on the scale and there's not a 3 in that number, I'm not mad about it. I mean, yeah, I wish I was in the 280s right now, but as you've said time and time again, the body heals from the inside out, and I've got a lot of healing to do. So it's, now that I'm below 300, I feel a lot less pressure than I did before that. Like, I had this goal to be at under 300 by December 31st. Didn't happen. Well, first I had a goal to be under it by the end of November. That definitely didn't happen. I was being unrealistic, and instead of being a slave to sugar, I started to be a slave to the scale. And I just realized that it wasn't healthy. I was substituting one toxic relationship for another when it came to my health, whereas now I've finally found that happy medium. Weighing once a week, the number is what it is. If I need to make adjustments, I do it. And that's
Yeah.
really been the key, is just not getting freaked out if I make a mistake, or if I maybe gained a little, or I stayed the same. It's not the end of the world. I'm in it for the long haul, so let's do it right this time. And I got to say, I'm in a group text with Robin, Kurt, Scott, Jen, and we talk all the time, and we're share a lot of frustrations, and that's helped too, to have that support system of people that are not directly in my house. I know Kurt, I know North Dakota, he makes fun of me for being a Packer fan all the time, but he really is very supportive and a good dude to have as a resource. Him, Robin, Jen, Scott, all of them. It's amazing.
Yeah, Robin and Scott are really, really good support team. Kurt Lapeer, not so much, but okay. I mean, 2 out of you 3, not so bad.
And don't forget Jen Mendyka too.
Yeah, she's done really well. I think she's down 70 or 80 pounds or something like that. So
she's been doing fantastic.
And look, I love that you guys are creating support teams and doing all that together. So that's really good. So keep up the good work. Any final words before we move on to Kelli?
My biggest thing is, if you are struggling, don't keep it to yourself, because when I had my backslide earlier last year, I kept my mouth shut. And, Robin Dobbins will tell you, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't want to say anything because you needed to figure it out. She was right. When I finally opened my mouth up and said, hey, I'm struggling here, I need help, that was when that figurative weight was really lifted.
Yeah. Well, good, man. And I'm always here for you. You have my phone number. You know where to find me.
Absolutely. And next time you're in Louisiana, I'm making that 4-hour trip to Donaldsonville and taking you for a steak.
I would really appreciate that, but you're going to be duly unimpressed to meet me. So I would love to go have a steak with you, but let me buy it, because I don't want you to drive all that way and be so unimpressed to meet me.
That could never be the case.
Yeah, I'm very you'll meet me and go, this is it. This is the guy. He's kind of a dud.
No, never.
But I'm looking forward to meeting you, brother. And I'll give you a heads up when I'm down there. And
I appreciate that. I look forward to it.
You got it, man. Chris, who else do we have there? I see Kelli. Did she fix her device yet, or how does that
work? We got Miss Kelli queued up. She's got some beautiful vases in the background. Vinny, the book that you were just talking about is Dying to Be Healthy.
Yeah.
I also, in the break, had ChatGPT come up with the next big hit movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called Iron Blood: The Last Tournament. In a dystopian future where mega corporations control everything, entertainment's been weaponized. Victor Iron Kane Stallone was once the undefeated champion, but now he needs to overcome a tragic double cross by his own brother. No weapons, only fists, no backing down, one-on-one combat, and you have to win 10 rounds or you lose your freedom, right? I mean, it's every trope. Washed up former champion, high stakes underground competition, reluctant hero, somebody fighting for their family, one-liner before the final punch, crowd chants his name, right? All of 30 seconds for us to come up with a better movie than the ones that we were talking about a little bit earlier.
I could do better than that. I'll figure out better than that. That's okay, but that's not great.
We'll come up with some good ones. But I know we have Miss Kelli waiting in the wings here. Miss Kelli, if you give me a thumbs up in the camera, we can bring you on in whenever you're ready. There she is.
Yep.
Hey, Miss Kelli.
Hey, Kelli.
Hey. Hi, guys.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love the black on black. You look like the female Steve Jobs.
Well, it's still cold here. I'm in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's still cold, so I'm still wearing turtlenecks. And we're just first day of spring. We're still waiting for spring. Basically, we're supposed to get more snow this week. So
it's going to warm up in June, and then wintertime comes in July, pretty much, or something.
Pretty much, yeah. We're happy. It's getting warmer when people start wearing flip-flops and shorts in 40-degree weather. Because that's just how it is around here.
Do you ever did you grow up there, Kelli?
Well, I did, and then I moved to Texas, and I lived in Texas for 35 years, and I just moved back a little less than 2 years ago.
Was there a reason to move back? Because Texas is pretty glorious, depending on where you live.
It is, and I'm finding that I'm missing it a lot. But both my parents were very sick, and my mom ended up passing away. She had Alzheimer's, and so my dad he's 90, so he's he's kind of on his last legs, and so we're all kind of trying to rally around him to kind of keep him going and stuff. But we know the inevitable is coming. It's just that we're trying not to think about that too much. So
we're all at that age. You look a lot younger
Yeah.
than me. My parents are still around. They're in their mid 80s, and I dread the day. I mean, I
Yep.
really do.
Yep.
It's rough.
I mean, with my mom, because she was sick for so long, when it happened, we all just kind of breathed a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
But my dad's he's in fairly good health, but I'm trying to get him to eat more protein as well, and he just doesn't do it. He just, crackers and cheese dip and soup and tea and toast like the old people always eat. That's kind of what he's doing. So
as we age, it's more and more important to get high protein, high quality protein. Exercise, the fountain of youth is exercise and high quality protein. And by high quality animal protein, meaning eggs, meat, fish, red meat, fish, pork.
He's still, very big on having his bowl of cereal for breakfast and his orange juice, which is, basically just sugar water. So
don't try to change him. Why?
I know he's not going to change, but
yeah, no one's leaving here alive. Let him enjoy his last couple of years, and there you have it.
Yep.
So tell me about you.
So growing up, when I was listening to is it Tim? Is that his name?
Yeah.
And he was talking about
Tim.
So food in Wisconsin is a big thing. It's used for everything. You celebrate food with food. If you're having a bad day, you have food. Your mom makes you food. Lots of cakes. My mom was really big on celebrating anything, birthdays, anniversaries, whatever. So we always had cakes and ice cream and all this kind of stuff. So I've kind of been on a lifelong diet on and off, like probably since I was been in my 20s. And I've done Weight Watchers. I don't remember losing anything on Weight Watchers. And then I saw the video called is it Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead?
Mm-hmm.
The guy who did the smoothies. And so that inspired me to do the smoothie diet. And I was religious about it, and that's all I had. I had 3 smoothies a day, and I lost 50 pounds, and I was very happy about that. And then I got the flu, and all of that went out the window because all I wanted was soup and toasted cheese, grilled cheese sandwiches, and macaroni and cheese and all this stuff. So I've just been kind of lifelong dieting. And so I did start the no sugar, no grains. And I've been fairly religious about that. I've fallen off a couple of times, but not anything major. But I just haven't lost anything. And I'm at the 4-month mark, and I'm just very frustrated because I haven't lost anything. And I will say that I'm rather sedentary because it is winter here and it's hard to kind of do anything. But I'm just wondering, am I doing something? Could I be doing something in addition to what I'm doing to start losing weight? Because I see all these people losing weight and I'm just not.
Right. All right. So we'll get to the bottom. I'll figure it out. But let me just say this: Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. I remember when I saw that documentary. It must have been I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago.
10, yeah. Yep.
And I'm watching it, and this guy, so the whole thing from the beginning, because I see things in a very critical way, it's like, okay, I want to figure out how to diet. So I'm going to leave. Was he in New Zealand or Australia or somewhere?
Australia.
Yeah. And he goes, I'm going to leave Australia, and I'm going to go drive across the United States. And that's all I'm going to do is drive across the United States and figure out why people are fat or whatever. And I'm like, why are you doing that? You're in Australia. Why don't you drive across Australia? Why are you coming here? And I'm just taking me and my trusty blender. And I'm watching it, and it's kind of, what's this guy doing? I'm getting ready to turn it off. And just when I'm getting ready to turn it off, he meets a trucker.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, why is this included in the movie? You know, most people don't have these thoughts, right? But I'm like, okay, this is a setup, right? This guy, we're being punked right now because all vegan documentaries have some version of punking you. And so the guy was like, yeah, I just met this trucker, and we traded numbers. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why? Why? You know, this really overweight trucker gets out of a truck and you just traded numbers with the guy. Okay, that doesn't make sense. And then I went back home to Australia, and I figured that was the end of the film, really, because your film sucked up until then. We knew that wasn't a film. So this was it's all planned. It's another vegan thing that's put together. It's
right.
It's not real. Did you take that from the movie, or?
Well, I didn't. I just took it as it just hit me as a way to, because I knew I was living my entire, probably 90% of my diet was pasta, rice, anything like that, anything that was bread. I'm in the Midwest. Potatoes.
I know how you're eating. I know where you are now. I know how you're eating, but this movie caught me the wrong way because I'm like, wait a minute. You just so happen to, trade numbers with a trucker, odd. And then I went back home and I never thought anything of it. And then one day my phone rang in Australia. This trucker from the Midwest calls me, and he's ready to do something. So I start juicing, and we start a juice company, and we're getting everybody lean, drinking juice. And I'm like, is anyone buying this bullshit? Because I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. Right. So I'm watching this, and yeah, I get you losing 50 pounds on a juice, juicing, because when you're eating potatoes and you're eating rice and you're eating pasta and you're eating those starches around the clock, just juicing, right, and getting other nutrients. I've seen a lot of people. I was in California. People start juice fasts all the time, right? And it works like a charm at first. And by the way, you lost a requisite amount of weight, 50 pounds. That's about what people lose.
Yeah, and I remember I went to the store and I bought a pair of size 12 jeans, and I cried because I hadn't been that small in, well, decades.
But that's the promise.
But the minute I start eating normal food again,
right,
it goes out the window.
Yeah, and at some point, again, you're juicing, you're white knuckling, right? You can only have so much juice. I'm sorry, it is what it is. And then when you start, again, it's a calorie deficit proposition. And when you start eating real food again, boom, there you are.
Yep.
Right. Or not real food, but starches, like the heavy starches.
Right.
So,
which is exactly what happened.
And by the way, a lot of people, when they're juicing and they stop losing weight, what do you think they do? They double down on juicing. I'm not making that part up, Kelly. They will double down on juice. They'll go, maybe I'm not juicing. I need to go another level.
Yeah.
And then they start cheating more and more and this and that. Next thing you know, it's all out the window. Now you're doing NSNG. You found me, you're doing this, and you're not losing any weight. So if you don't mind me asking, height, age, and weight.
My doctor had told me that I have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Okay.
And my blood sugars have been very high. So I knew I had to do something. So when I found NSNG, I was like, good, because I heard that was probably the only diet that can help with non-alcoholic fatty liver.
Do you
So that
mind
was
giving height, age, and weight, Kelly, so we can get
I'm
an
64,
idea?
64, and I weigh about 235,
How tall?
5'8".
Okay. So you started this how long ago?
4 months, November 1st.
Okay, and you haven't lost a pound.
Nope.
Have you checked your A1C since then? Have they gone down?
I have not. I don't know what that is.
A1Cs is when you go get your blood work and they tell you have an A1C. If you're diabetic, type 2 diabetic, the A1C is what tells you what you're.
Okay. No, I've just gone, my doctor, when I go to have a regular blood draw, that's when they would, my doctor would say, hey, your sugars are high, your cholesterol's high.
When was the last time you did that? When was the last
Oh
blood draw?
gosh, over a year ago.
So you haven't done it since you started doing this?
No.
All right. So we're kind of flying here. We're free. I'm going to free flow here because we don't know what your numbers are, right? Okay. So we don't know what your triglycerides are. We don't know what your A1Cs are. We don't know what your blood sugar, fasted blood sugar is. All the things I can use to go, maybe Kelly's doing something wrong. So I'm going to have to, like a rapper at a rap competition, I'm going to have to freeform it. Okay.
Okay.
Take me through now, Kelly. This is very important. Take me through, not today, but the average day, what you're eating. And I want you to do two things. Do not say I wake up and eat a protein and then I have a fat. I want you to say I wake up and I have coffee, I put cream, I put this, I put that, I have eggs, whatever it is, I have 3 bananas. Tell me what you're doing and we'll see if we could get you somewhere close to the right level, and then we'll bring you back on a subsequent show after you get blood work to see if we could get you in the right range. But we need to start here.
Okay, so I get up kind of, mid-morning or whatever, and I'll have coffee.
What time?
And I do put
time
between 10 and 11.
What time do you go to bed?
I'm a night owl, so I go to bed pretty late.
Yeah, me too. How late do you go to bed?
1 or 2.
Yeah, you and I can we could text at night. My wife is sleeping. We go, hey, you, what's up? What are you watching? I'm usually working at my desk at 1 and 2. Chris will tell you, I send him text, little love notes.
Yeah.
1 and 2 in the morning.
Everybody I know seems to be a morning person, and I'm like, I'm up till 2, 3. That's just average for me. So I'll have coffee between maybe 10 and 11, and I just have 1 cup.
That's the first thing you put in your body, coffee.
Well, I have water too. I mean, I'll drink a glass of water and have coffee and stuff. And then I usually eat maybe about noon or 1.
I'm not done with your coffee yet.
Oh, okay.
What do you put in it?
Cream.
What kind of cream?
Whatever is on sale for heavy cream.
So actual heavy cream, dairy, real heavy,
yes.
Not creamer, not okay.
Right.
1 cup heavy cream. Okay.
Well, I put in, about like a tablespoon or whatever it is. So
you color it up. It look like does your coffee look like maybe Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with a nice tan?
I don't know who that is, but sure.
You don't know The Rock?
The actor. Yes. Yes, I would say probably yes. Yeah. I would say probably is that.
Your coffee doesn't look like Beyonce, does it?
No. It's I like it. I like it more on the darker side. So
on the rock side.
And I do use allulose for a sweetener.
Okay, it's very important. I'm glad you're telling me that.
Yeah,
All right.
I do use allulose because I've used the other stuff and I heard that allulose actually has benefits rather than deficits for you. So
We'll talk about that in a minute. So,
Okay.
all right, that's the first thing you have. 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, you have that.
yes. And then I don't really eat till I feel hungry. So I make it a point to not just eat, but I eat when I'm hungry. So if my stomach starts growling, I will usually have something maybe about noon or 1 o'clock. And usually that is maybe like a burger and 2 or 3 eggs.
Okay. How big is the burger, Kelly? How big is that burger?
It's a
Do you
quarter
make it
pound, maybe?
Do you get the burger yourself, the ground beef, and make it? Where's this coming from?
I do. I can do that, but I also just buy them as well from Aldi. They're already pre-made.
So
if
it's not just 100% meat. I need you to check Aldi burgers, pre-made.
Yes, it is for sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah, or I'll buy one of those square little, 100% beef grass-fed packages that you get at the grocery store. Get that and make burgers from that.
It's 100% beef, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And then later on, I might have, this is probably 6 or something, 6 or 7. I might have a couple of chaffles, and maybe a small salad.
Tell me what goes in your chaffle.
Usually shredded cheese, and I do buy the prepackaged stuff. I don't shred it myself. Cheese, eggs, a little bit of almond flour, and usually just some spices.
What kind
or
of spice?
sometimes pork panko as well, maybe a couple tablespoons.
Can you tell Krista just the pork panko that you're getting?
It is. I picked mine up at my local Woodman's store. There is stuff that's just called pork panko. I don't know who the brand is, but this stuff is. They don't call it pork panko. Hold on. I will literally go over to the cabinet.
Now we're cooking. There we go.
She's cruising, man.
I love this woman. She's got a great smile.
Okay, so this is it. This is what I got, and I don't know if this is. It's called Original Flavor Pork Rind Crumbs, and it says the breadless breadcrumb, 0% total carbohydrates. Oh, it's Bucky Badger, of course.
I don't know. Is that a good thing or bad?
Bucky Badger is the University of Wisconsin mascot.
Oh.
Only if you think Wisconsin is worth going to. It's fine.
That's right. Well,
Kelly, do me a favor.
Everybody in my family seems to have gone there. So so this is their version. So this
read the ingredients.
Ingredients: pork rinds, which are cooked in pork fat, and salt.
That's okay, good. You can have that. That's good. All right.
Okay.
All right.
So and that's
Bucky Badger on it. You want to keep that.
And that's pretty much it. That's kind of a typical typical day as far as eating.
Are you gaining weight?
I don't think I've gained any weight, but I know I definitely have not lost any because things are still fitting that are fitting the same way as they ever did, basically. So my jeans and my, things like that, they're just fitting the same.
The aforementioned Tim was talking about Jen Mendyka, who we've had on the show before. Jen is a woman who I think she has a little more weight than you lose. She's a lot younger than you. You're my age, and she's younger. And Jen can almost. She will stop losing weight when she's not getting enough sleep, or if she, because she has a job where she has to work all night. right?
Okay.
And
Mhm.
the one thing, and we're not nocturnal animals, right?
Right.
One of the things we should do is I'm going to give you a few things to do. And then the next time we do one of these shows, I want you to come back on. Now, you got a pen? Because there's several things we want you to
Yes.
do. Okay. Number one, I want you to go get your blood drawn as soon as possible. At 64, you shouldn't go a year without seeing a doctor anyway. Think of yourself as being like a Ferrari. We need tune-ups when we get older. Okay. We're delicate. Go to a doctor, get blood work up. Okay.
Okay.
You want to know what your A1Cs are. Very important. And I want you to do this as soon as possible. Don't go 3 weeks down the road, because I'm going to give you things to do. I want to know where you are now before you do the things I tell you to do. So you want to know what your A1Cs are. You want to know what your triglycerides are. You want to know what your resting, I'm sorry, not resting, but
Blood pressure?
no. Your fasted, I was trying to think of the word fasted. Sorry, it's been a long day. Fasted blood sugar, right? So find out those numbers. Okay.
Okay.
So I want you to make that appointment sooner than later. I can't believe you haven't been to a doctor, and you can't do this. Kelli, I know your mom died and you're taking care of your dad, but someone's got to take care of Kelli. Okay.
Right.
And the only person, it's a little secret, the only person who's going to take care of Kelli is actually Kelli,
Right.
All right. So that's number one. Number two, I need to ask you, any alcohol consumption, wine, beer, booze.
Just, I mean, like literally every blue moon. I really don't drink that much at all.
Okay.
Like one or two a month, maybe.
Okay. So that's not drinking. You could keep doing that. Do you take any medication, or do you care to tell us?
Yeah, I am. I'm on 4 types of medications for blood pressure.
All right. So which 4? All 4 for blood pressure?
Yes. Mm-hmm. You'd think I'd have them memorized by now.
How does that work? They have one to make it go up, one to make it go down, one to make it go left, and one to make it go right, or what?
Well, it's like some are for some are to keep things from to expand your sorry, I'm in the restroom here. To expand your arteries. Others are to keep the pressure down. Others are to a diuretic. So let's see here. So I have diltiazem.
Chris, write these down, because we're going to find out what the side effects are. Can you spell that?
It's diltiazem.
Is that Chris?
Actually,
and it is.
I guessed that one correctly. Not sure.
Yeah,
how.
it's kind of spelled just like it sounds. So, another one, and I don't know why they have to have these big long names. Isosorbide. ISOSORBIDE.
Okay.
Next one is lisinopril. LISINOPRIL. And the last one is really long. It's hydrochlorothiazide, but I think they just call it HCl, is kind of the shortcut version.
Chris will find it. So Chris, start looking up the side effects on those, and if it can change anything to do with your normal metabolic rate.
I've been on them for a while too. I've been on all of them for years.
Yeah, medications like that could screw up, everything, unfortunately. So, but that's no excuse. A couple of things we want you to do. I need you to go to bed a little earlier. So can we
Okay.
get you in bed by midnight?
I could do that.
Okay. Number 2, you could keep the heavy cream in your coffee, but you need to take the
Good, because I just bought a bottle.
Yeah. Have it all the live long day. But we need to get you off of the allulose now. Don't wean off, go off of it. It means you're going to have to buy better coffee. You might not find that at Aldi, but there's good coffees out there. You can find them.
Right.
Right. There's better
Yeah,
brands.
I have a very hard time drinking coffee without sweetener in it. Very hard time. Is there
Well,
any sweetener that I could use?
No, I want, unfortunately, we need to get you on the right side of health. I'm telling you, once you get used to it with the cream, you're going to find that you can do it. And as a matter of fact,
Okay.
you'll start tasting the coffee. Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Do me a favor. Off the air, get Kelly's address, and I want to send her 1 free bag of our house. Do you like ground coffee, or do you have a coffee grinder?
I prefer beans, but if it's free, I'm not gonna complain. I'll take it any way you want.
Send her one bag of the whole bean house.
Some house on the house. All right.
Yeah, on the house. This is on me. And you got to promise me you're going to drink this whole bag with no sugar, no allulose, no sweetener or whatever. And it might take you a while to adjust. You go, oh, it's too bitter, or it's this or that.
Right.
Measure it. And do you drip coffee? Is that what you do, or you use a press or whatever?
I just do a pour over, so kind of the same sort of thing.
Yeah, measure it and get it. You might go a little too light the first day, and it might taste too acidy. You might go a little too heavy the second day. But I think my house is a good coffee that'll get you starting to taste the nuance of coffee. First bag, I'm like a drug dealer, baby. First bag's in the house. And by the way, you don't have to continue with my coffee. Once you taste what good coffee tastes like, you go in your grocery store and find.
Oh, I'm a coffee snob. I'm a coffee snob. I usually buy the good beans.
You're a snob? Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do we have? Are we sending out the new Explorer yet? Is that out?
By the time this airs, it should be shipping. Yeah.
You know what? Send her the house, and when we have the new Explorer on me, send her that too. If she's a snob, she's got to taste this.
I like it.
I've gotten rid of almost everything else in my pleasurable in my life. I have to have coffee.
I'm going to hook you up. PureCoffeeClub.com is. Do you know I have a coffee company? Did you know that?
I didn't know that, actually.
Can you see behind me that bag right there? That's the house blend right there.
Okay.
See it there? That's Pure Coffee
Well,
Club.
I saw your setup when you first came online, and I was like, "Ooh, he's got a nice little coffee maker back there. That's nice."
I'm like Starbucks back there, except it's good. I got my espresso machine here. I also do French press in my office, and I do pour over with my Chemex. Upstairs we have drip. And we have 2 or 3 upstairs, and we have every which way you can make coffee. I have a house with 2 coffee bars that's just set up for coffee. That's
you're worse than me.
Oh, I'm worse than anyone you know. Yeah, I have my little demi-tasse before we started. So, Chris, help her out. All right, so I need you eating in the morning with your egg. You know the egg you save for when you start feeling hungry?
Mm-hmm. You want me to eat it earlier?
Yeah. How do you eat your egg?
I usually make them over easy, or I make them. I'll boil them. I'll scramble them. Pretty much anyway.
You wake up and you're enjoying your coffee. Make your eggs.
Okay.
Right there. Okay. I want your metabolism flowing in the morning. And then since you're going to bed a little earlier, you're going to probably eat, again around 5 or 6 o'clock, maybe. You might need something midday. If you need something midday, anything like an avocado or olives. Usually, I'll have a little piece of Parmesan, like real Parmesan and not crap. I'll have a little piece of that. I'll dip it in olive oil and have a couple of olives, and boom. I don't really eat lunch at all.
Okay. Yeah, I have to say this way of eating, when I was eating all the pasta and all that stuff, I was hungry. I'm not kidding. Every 30 minutes or every hour, because
it means that you're doing a lot better. You figured this part out. We have to figure why you're not losing weight. But I want you to do that. And then at night with the chaffle, you might have to change the chaffle. You might have to do like an omelet or something where you're not putting the almond flour in. I need to get you strict for a while.
Okay.
And you can have more meat at night, or fish or chicken or anything. Get more animal protein in. Don't just have chaffle at night. You get one ingredient foods, Kelly. There's a few things we know you can do. So we have a few things. You're going to go to the doctor. We're going to find out where you are so we can see what your blood's doing. Number 2, we're going to go to bed just a bit earlier. Number 3, we're going to eat when you wake up, and we're going to eat better at night. And then Chris, did we look at any of these blood pressure medications she's on? Any side effects that we need to know about?
So one, and this is something, Vinny, she mentioned allulose.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is under the impression that all of these OSAs and USAs and sugar alternatives are a free lunch. And beyond the story that I know you've told on the podcast about running to the bathroom at KetoCon and seeing everyone having painted the walls, there are calories in those. It's not a ton, right? But it's like 0.5 gram per gram. So it is less than sugar, but it's still something that's substantial. And it can actually increase hunger in some people. I know it has that effect on me because it triggers the sugar thing. And as soon as I have something with allulose in it, I want to eat the entire house. But from a medication standpoint, the diltiazem, and everybody who's a doctor or pharmacist is going to have a heart attack here for the next 10 minutes, is one of the main known side effects is that it can cause mild weight gain. Now, the reason for that is typically fluid retention, which is why they have you on the diuretic, right? But it can also lead to increased appetite and constipation and a variety of other things. So it could be that you're actually hungrier than you would be otherwise because of that. And it can cause weight gain. Typically, according to this, it's going to be from fluid retention, but it can cause weight gain anyway. The other two, not so much outside of edema and fluid retention, Vinny. But the HCTZ can lead to electrolyte imbalances, dehydration, and cause you to have an increased appetite and a depressed metabolism with long-term use.
Oh, good stuff. Okay.
Do you drink a lot of water during the day, Kelly?
I try to. I'm horrible at it, but I try to.
All right, we need to get
I know I should be drinking more.
All right, Chris, that care package we're sending Kelly, add 1 bottle of ultra salt for Kelly. Kelly, I want you drinking at least 240. I want you to drink 80 ounces of water a day.
Wow. Okay.
But if you're just drinking straight water, because you have if you're taking diuretics and everything else, part of your problem is, I'm telling you, is fluid and it's not having electrolytes. Again, your first one's free. So I need you to drink at least 40 ounces a day, and I'm sending you that product, right? Is it behind me? I can't really tell. Ultra Salt from my other company, Pure Vitamin Club.
It's the one right behind your head. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sending you a bottle of Ultra Salt. For every 40 ounces that you drink, I want you to take 2 of these. Right?
Okay. Are they little packets?
No, it's a little capsule. So when you start drinking your first one in the morning, pop one in your mouth and drink it about halfway through. 20 ounces later, take another one, and when you fill up your 40 ounces again, take another one at the beginning and one at the end. Trust me on this. You're going, that's a lot of salt. We're going to get your blood pressure down.
Okay.
Right? We want you to drink a lot of water. We're going to get your blood pressure down. We're going to clear you out. We're going to fix you. Right? It's all about fixing Kelli. Right? I'm into fixing you. You know, so the next time we have a show, Chris, I need Kelli on the next show. Kelli, you got to get that blood work done pretty quickly.
Okay.
Okay. Kelli, we're going to leave it right there. You got a lot of work to do, and we're going to watch you. We're going to watch you get smaller. Okay.
Good.
And we're going to watch you get healthier. Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Chris, I want to take a quick break. We have one more guest, right?
No, they ended up dropping off. So they came in and popped back out.
Oh, I thought there was someone else in the bottom there. Is there
no it's Kelli. Kelly's here twice.
Oh, we have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Oh,
I thought I dropped the other one.
Okay, I was going to take go on.
I'm not very tech savvy, so that's why.
That's all right.
Oh,
so
we got you.
I was going to take a quick break and then come back, and we had so many guests, talk so much. I was going to break the show into two and make it two shows. Chris, we're going to leave it right there. We did Villa Capelli, folks. You know what to do. We all go shopping on Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com. Puts a little coal on the fire, gets my train down the track. Chris, does everyone know that they have to stay in the studio until everything is uploaded?
Yep, Tim's good. Kelly's uploading as we speak.
Okay, great. Oh, rate and review this show. Kelli, go rate and review my show. I just gave you a lot of free product. Just do me a favor. Go rate and review the show. Tell everyone how much you love it. That's what we do around here. On behalf of Chris Shaffer, Tim Mallion, Kelli, and who else did we have on tonight, Chris?
You.
And me. My name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with one, Miss Shania Twain.